Hello everyone, this is Hydaelyn with a new... This is my first time making a video for this expansion. This is my first expansion for Final Fantasy XIV for Endwalker. So, I would like to give you a heads up, if you have not done an Endwalker already, do not come and watch these videos, because there will be spoilers in it. And I mean spoilers, really juicy parts of it. So, if you guys have done Endwalker, you may freely stay and watch. For those who are new to this, or those of you who haven't beaten Endwalker, don't come and watch it, because I would like to do this blindly, and I'd rather not get spoiled by it. So, at any rate, let's do this. Alright, Avenel. What's going on? The next ship to sail. Avenel is a feeling they need to take stock. Do you have some time to talk? Yeah. What's up? I'd like to gather everyone to Dawn's respite and together assess the situation in which we find ourselves. Okay. What's gonna happen now? Let's take the stocks of the facts, shall we? The crisis at hand began with the sudden appearance of the mountainous towers in a multitude of locations throughout the world. We have learned that said structures were brought to the being by an organization known as the Tabulari. The Tabulari stated purpose to recreate the final days of eons past, an apocalyptic event that would result in the destruction of all we hold dear. Already, half these towers have been the cause of untold suffering. Countless innocents are kidnapped and imprisoned, their fates perverted for primal summonings. And unless we find a way to deal with the corruptive aura surrounding the spires, we can't get even close enough to rescue anyone. Those who shielded the blessed light seems able to resist being tempered, at least. That's true, but after having to Alphanaut and Florida, we need to be very careful about how we proceed. While these threats are close us to are paramount concern, but we mustn't lose sight of the situation in guard mode. Okay? As you know, Televiral are under the leadership of Fandaniel, one other delighted fellow, and one other delighted fellow, Xenos Yeek Galvis, the Crown Prince, and our dear friend. To date, he reclaimed his own body and murdered Emperor Varus, plunged Gunnarmold into the deeper pit of chaos. The Counterpart has probably seen the worst of it, for a good while there. It saw the bloodiest fighting in the War of Succession, but that has changed. That has since changed in troubling ways. During our reconnaissance, the air was not rent by barking cannons or the cries of discord. It was the eerie fog of silence which did blanket that ruined city. And inhabitants appeared to be tempered, with nary a word spoken. They labor some to transform the past into a soaring edifice born of nightmares. If they were indeed made thralls, it seems to assume that these events too were orchestrated by the Taparari. An army of rivals is awful enough, but in the light of recent developments, I fear it is only the prelude of even greater catastrophe. And we need to devise a means to counter this threat, and quickly, before our allies are overwhelmed. We will find a way in Sharlayan, I'm sure of it. Master Forshalan's comments regarding the final days were curious to say the least. The Forum knows that it is letting on. Let's... Sorry to interrupt. Huh? We just received the word from Mistress Crown. She says the arrangements for your visit have been finalized. Fun. Hydaelyn Messinia aboard the ship bound for Sharlayan. Associate with the student Beldesian. Fair enough. Gaharia. The arrangement may be settled, but what are your thoughts? They must raise at the prospect of returning home after so long. I get to see it, of course. Of course. We should be set off at once. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Shall be company on the docks. At least one person there to wave and cry. Wave and cry, wish you a safe journey. Fair enough. Alright, this is gonna be interesting. Alright, so while I'm turning this down to 50, it's to Lindsay. Let's head to the docks. We should have nothing else to fear. Oh, there's like... Boop. And... Boop. Alright, we should be... Alright. There we go. I think this is it. Off we go. Paid for your passage, and the fee is not refundable. Alright, let's go then. It is time. Dun dun.
They've almost finished loading our cargo. We should be ready to depart right on schedule, or so I'm told.
Excellent. 'Tis nice to have a smooth beginning to one's journey, at the very least.
Yep.
It's funny. Master Louis Soir came here on a ship very much like this one.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. So, I don't know if you tell, but in one of my videos, I did the Binding Coils Bahamut. So, if you haven't seen that, I will be sure to post the video link in the description below for this one, if you haven't seen it already, or haven't done that yet. So, yeah.
And now, years later, the street urchin he befriended that day is bound for his mentor's homeland. With his mentor's grandchildren, no less.
Aww.
Aye. 'Tis upon reflection that every twist of time's river and fate's whims are brought into sharp relief.
Yeah.
Thou hast matured much in the intervening years. Wert thou not caught attempting to relieve Master Louisois of his purse scant moments after he made landfall upon this dock?
What? Thank Gred.
Oh, really? Now that's a tale I'd like to hear.
Alice, say. Oh, that's so
Will this be
funny.
your first visit to Sharlayan, Sir Estinian? Sir Estinian?
Are we strangers newly met? Why this stiff formality?
I merely meant it as a professional courtesy, since we are now colleagues in an official sense.
I'd rather you dispense with the sirs, especially in private company.
Right.
Or I'll be forced to respond in kind, little Lord Alphino.
Holy
You've
shit!
made your point, Estinian. Painfully well.
Better.
Stinian. Oh, the snarkiness. I love it. It is well done, written.
Are you alright, Tataru? You seem positively distraught.
Yeah.
Distraught? Me? Don't be silly. I think it's lovely that they get to see their homeland.
No, really, what's wrong, Tataru? What's wrong?
It's just... we're trying to thwart the schemes of an army hellbent on destroying the world.
I mean, you have a fair point, but yeah.
And, once again, I have to stay behind and worry that this is the last time I'll get to see my friends.
No sense of worrying about things we are powerless to change. Or... I mean... No sense of worrying about the things we're powerless to change. Which is true, which I've been there myself.
Well, that's hardly comforting.
Ah, good. You're still here.
Hardy Boulder? Boulder?
Hori! Kultine! What brings you all this way?
We're to assist the Maelstrom and the Kobolds with a lunar primal operation, so we thought we'd see you off before heading to the tower. Flamine and the others wish you all a safe journey, and promise that they'll look after things here until you return.
Yeah.
We will too, of course. Aye. We, your fellow Scions of the Seventh Dawn, will do our part to ensure the end of the world won't happen on our watch.
I hope so.
We're set to sail! All aboard for Sharlayan!
It's time.
It's time.
Then we must delay no longer. We will contact you the moment we learn aught of value. Wish us luck.
Have a safe journey, and please, please, be careful.
Thanks, Tataru. We will. Up we go. We're going to Sharlayan, guys.
And so you venture forth unto the unknown.
Oh, Jesus!
A fate beyond the horizon that cannot be divined. A future undefined and in flux. In uncertain times, naught but the simplest words of wisdom will suffice.
Hi, Emmett.
That which lives is destined to die. Love leads to loss. Every beginning has an end. Treasure every moment, every step of your descent.
Hello?
And
Oh.
there, in the depths where souls and stars rest, find your truth.
Alright. I thought I'd be hearing Emmett's voice again. Emmett was a fantastic villain. I could never ever forget that. How could I? How could I forget about him? Especially Elizabeth, honestly. I mean, both of them tried so hard to fight something that they want to... They tried to fight to get home, hence the retreat. Oh, jeez. These kids. Them.
Here.
Hydaelyn?
Feel. Think.
The day has barely dawned, my fellow earlier riser.
Hi. Garhad.
Though we're hardly alone in that. Envious of those still sleeping soundly, no doubt.
Yeah. I love her. I can hear the answers in the background.
Called out to you, you say? I've heard nothing myself.
Maybe he doesn't... Oh, that's right.
In any case, I dare say the sea air will do you good. Why not join the others on deck? Sharlayan should be coming into view at any moment.
Yeah, that's all I like to say. Look at the twins. What's that sound? Is that answers? It is answers. Hey, it's that lady in... It's the lady in white. Lady of Light? Is that lady from before?
My voice yet reaches you. I am glad.
Who are you?
Hear, feel, think.
No way!
And thus do we meet face to face at last. My warrior of light, guided by the crystal.
It is Hydaelyn! No way! Oh my god. What do I say to her after learning what Emmett was telling the truth? After learning what Emmett said about him and the Asians and his brothers and Elizabeth and their home. what that truth is. After honestly, I remember something. Emmett did mention that the ancients bring the more powerful primal, which is Hydaelyn, and I think looking back to the Praetorium, what La Habrea said, a parasite must be burned up before the when the planet has a chance to recover, and not when the true God shall complete excision. And then Elizabeth for the final shutdown, and Shadowbringers, La Habrea and Emmett Sugg paid the ultimate price, leaving the last of the Unsundered. And you haven't talked to me. You haven't said anything to me when I was in Northrend. Even during the Alamigo thing, since like long before the Dragon Song War ended. So, this scene is so painful, honestly. I kind of want to say... that Emmett was right. Mostly because he wants to get his home back, and that's what he wants. But he understood that I trust Emmett. Like, he was my friend and he was my enemy, and asked us to remember him and the Elizabeth, because that's what Emmett would have asked of us. After... I've been thinking about this for a long time, but I think it was... Now that I learned that Hydaelyn is a primal, more or less the same. So... this is a very hard decision to make. I want to say why now, but... But after learning what Emmett said in Northrend, there's still clues. I don't understand. There's some things I just don't understand about Hydaelyn. We know that Hydaelyn is a primal, but I don't think I can trust her words no longer, after all the shit she has done.
You have visited the First. You have every right to say that.
So she... Oh! She did not. I didn't think she did not have visited the First. I thought she didn't, but... Well then, this is interesting.
You have gained an understanding of what I truly am, what Hydaelyn has always been, a primal. Zodiark was created to forestall the apocalypse which threatened the ancient world, and I was brought forth to bind him.
What? That's new. Created to forestall the apocalypse which threatened the ancient world, and I was brought forth to bind. Oh. I remember. Emmett also said about that too, which is interesting.
Yet 7 times now, those who would orchestrate a return to that bygone era have rejoined a shard to the god I had sundered.
That you sundered?
The greater his strength grows, the swifter does mine own diminish. The power to draw your mind into the rift betwixt is no longer mine to wield.
So, does that make... Interesting. So does that make Zodiark stronger than Hydaelyn now? Because when Emmett explains it, when Emmett did explain that a rift between... So when Emmett did explain about his time in the ancient world, he did explain that they created Zodiark to forestall the apocalypse. But then half of the ancients was created to bind Zodiark, and thus just destroyed him in the process.
Yet though it taxes me sorely, I dare not leave these words unsaid.
Okay.
Even bereft of my guidance, you and your companions have accepted the burden of this star's troubled past. A conjunction has begun to form, an intertwining of your time and mine. Wheels shudder and turn. Conflict looms, monumental, which will decide the fate of this world and all life upon it.
Wait a second. Oh, wait a second. Hydaelyn has a mask too? I understand Hydaelyn's a primal, but why would she have a mask? Is there something that is that supposed to be something important?
When you truly understand what is at stake, and your journey has prepared you to surmount the insurmountable.
Okay.
Then shall I honor the promise made in another time, another age.
Huh?
Cast your peepers to the fore, folks. Sharlayan's just over yonder.
I will not keep you further. Your traveler's heart must yearn to behold this unfamiliar land. We shall meet again, and soon.
I hope so. Oh my gosh.
Oh, what a fine morning. Oh, still a bit stiff though.
And a good morning to you too. Taken a look at the island already?
Then let's go. Let's go. Might still be room in the prow if we're lucky.
I don't think they know that I talked to Hydaelyn, actually. They don't know that I actually spoke to Hydaelyn, so...
Ah, the sleepers have arisen. There she is. Good old Sharlayan.
Oh, I see it.
Whoa. That's Sharlayan? The old Sharlayan?
Home. Home at last. Well, maybe not in Father's eyes, but we'll manage on our own, if we must.
You do know you're not alone in this, don't you?
Indeed. 'Tis as Sir Estinian saith. Forget not the comrades who boarded this ship at your side, I prithee.
Thank you, my friends. We are ever grateful for your steadfast support.
Upon arrival, we will be disembarking into the heart of Sharlayan proper.
Yep.
There is no greater concentration of wisdom in all the world. I am confident that somewhere within that center of knowledge and learning, we will find the answers we seek.
For sure. Dun, 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 dun. Endwalker. This is it.
Sharlayan, the solitary island nation of the northern seas. Where under the watchful gaze of Thaliak, patron deity of scholars, academics hoard all manner of knowledge and secrets. Once, they deigned to accept foreign students into a distant colony maintained in the Dravanian hinterlands. How swiftly they abandoned it once the first Garlean boot set hostile foot on Alamegan soil. So averse to the prosecution of war, these men of wisdom, your would-be allies.
Alright, Emmett. The Northern Empty, Old Sharlayan.
I thought they'd never let us off the ship. What's next then? Entry applications?
I hope not.
Hopefully they find no cause to deny us.
Hasn't Sharlayan all but severed relations with foreign powers? Those of us without direct ties, myself included, may be refused outright.
'Tis true that, as a nation, Sharlayan only forms trade agreements with a select few neutral countries. But from a practical standpoint, an island cannot afford to be overly strict with its borders, especially not if that island's people are wholly devoted to the accumulation of knowledge. If one submits the proper paperwork, with satisfactory evidence of identity and intent, then foreigners may be granted entry.
May.
Quite. So let us be absolutely clear on these points before we proceed. The immigration officer will ask for your affiliation and your purpose of visit. Considering Sharlayan's views on intervention, I strongly suggest we avoid any mention of the Scions. Crown has laid the groundwork for us to act as associates of the students of Baldessian, and our ostensible reason for being here is to aid in their order's restoration.
Okay, but...
Brahatir, it might expedite our progress should an actual student be seen at the head of our little group. Would you mind leading the way?
Of course. The immigration offices were this way, as I recall. Shall we?
Oh. Yeah, I thought Brahatir was a bit more...
Greetings. We've just arrived and are eager to make our way into the city. Would you be so kind as to process our entry applications?
Certainly. I see by your mark you are an Archon.
I am. Brahatir of the Students of Baldesion at your service. I was assigned to an Eorzean survey team, but have returned to assist with the reformation of my order. My associates here will provide additional support.
Very good. I have paperwork detailing your group and its scheduled arrival for today.
And
it seems some few of your companions are also Archons. If you'll step forward, we can process those applications first.
Well, if you can... Well, if... Yeah, if you count, LSA, Avenal, and me, myself, and is sitting it out, I think we should be fine.
Ishtola rule.
Ishtola rule?
See how it glows? That list is etherically linked with the citizen registry kept in the main repository.
Good eye.
I've confirmed your status as Archons and amended your travel records accordingly. Welcome home. Now, who do we have here?
Alphino Leveilleur.
And Alize Leveilleur.
Your applications have also been approved. Having said that, the streets are abuzz with talk of how House Leveilleur's lord disowned his young progeny.
As we learned it in Shadowbringers posts the pre-patch.
And while such personal circumstances constitute no reason to deny you entry, I urge you to avoid exacerbating your present situation. Times are quite troubled enough already.
Fair enough.
We shall keep that in mind.
These last two are not Sharlayan natives, but you will find their credentials are in order. An application was made in advance.
Name and occupation?
And it is a title well earned, I can assure you.
An adventurer by trade is what your documentation indicates. No mention of this particular title. Self-appointed, I take it? Either way, your employer seems willing to vouch for your character, so I shall, albeit reluctantly, grant you entry. Champion. And you, sir?
Estinian Valino, formerly of the Order of the Knights Dragoon in Ishgard.
Formally, at least. And what, pray tell, is your profession now?
The Estinian look.
if you'll allow me.
Kryl?
My associate is a mercenary, hired for his strength at arms. Surely you are aware of the dangers we often face on our forays into the wilderness.
Mistress Baldessian, if you insist on sponsoring his entry, then so be it. But while I appreciate that desperate times call for desperate measures, I find your choice of company concerning. Be advised that even a single misstep may have severe repercussions for your organization.
Oh, jeez.
I have every confidence in my chosen company, dear and trusted comrades that they are. But I thank you for your concern.
What a perfect timely intervention.
Kryl, it is good to see you.
Yep.
Likewise. Long voyage notwithstanding, you all seem none the worse for wear. There is much to discuss, but this is hardly the place. Let's be on our way, shall we? Oh! Welcome, friends, to Sharlayan.
As your mercenary, I should hope my welcome includes a generous salary.
Well, I had to say something, Sir Taciturn.
Taciturn. That's funny. Honestly, that was... Honestly, this is not what I was... Honestly, this is not what I was... Whoa. The map is huge! There's some aetherytes on the map. I think I'll worry about that when I have the time. Alright. So what's the plan? I had thought to launch the writing an explanation of what I learned and how we might proceed. But this is Dracea and Estidian's first time in Sharlayan, and for the rest of you, a homecoming that is long overdue. You must have places you wish to visit, people you're dying to see. Therefore, I propose we postpone our agenda so that you may all have sufficient time to recover from your journey and get your bearings in the city. Seems fair. I am equally untethered, as it were. There is no particular place that my kin call home. Still, I will not pass up the opportunity to reacquaint myself with the city. Likewise, a quick tour of our old haunts may have yielded some useful gossips. And the annex is the west of the Aetheryte Pleasant, wasn't it? I shall join you there anon. Yes, I will see you there. We'll see you there. Ariadne? I too have places I would not remit. Is it not visiting forthwith? By thy leave. Well, the asking. That won't be necessary. Until we convene, I prefer wander as the wind takes me. And I could... oh. Stan is gonna do his thing, obviously. Raha, would you like to join us then? You've been gone for quite a while. This way better turn and refresh those dusty old memories of yours. He was from Sharlayan? I honestly don't know what to expect, honestly. This is the memory that I gotta make so much memories here, to be honest. Even in this game, at the current moment. Putting too much distance between you. Oh! That's a new one. So, basically you and him are just walking around. The Last Stand. Cafe on the west side of the harbor. Oh, so this is gonna be one of those, quests you have to escort. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Let's attune this one for the time being. This is gonna be interesting. Oh, that's interesting. What's this over here? Now that is a sight one I could hardly forget. The great statue of Thalok. As a student about this, I usually quartered on the Isle of Val, but I would gaze upon the scholar's wise future every time I returned by ship to the city. This path leading towards the sea is known as the Thalok Sota, so named for the statue of the scholar which stands at its end. As you know, the Sharlayan people prize accumulation of wisdom above all else. Thus, when Thalok has chosen his our Patreon deity, it was more than a matter of pragmatism than a belief, aligned to principles, as it were. We may have honored him with a rather impressive sculpture, yes, but our faith is not so easily restrictive as Ishgarians or individual Sharlayans can or do worship the divinities of their own choosing. Interesting. So what's over here? The Last Stand. Here we are. The Last Stand. I may have mentioned this before, but although our research to nutrition and preparations are quite extensive, the average Sharlayan tends to regard seasoning and flavor with a certain indifference. You don't say. How can I put this? The food is, bland. The cups about our Orkhan loaf. The prevailing sentiment towards the cruise is dietary value, and the taste is a distant second. There was one pupil at the city, however, who could stomach the school's impious meal no longer, so he quit his lesson and poured all his savings into building a proper eatery. And so Last Stand came to be. It is, as the name implies, so dictated outpost of fine dining of Sharlayan, the one and only bastion of culinary arts, in an isle otherwise mediocre fare. I seem to recall their burger being hailed as one of the more impressive items on the menu. Not that I'd ever had the pleasure of eating one myself. Because you were typical Sharlayan when it comes to cheap and convenient raha. But Shore Tutorials has since taught you how to appreciate a well-prepared dish, which shall stop the when time permits, and a sample of Cafe's delight. Shall we press on? The stairs to the side of the cafe should take us up to the Aetheryte Plaza. That's interesting. So that's interesting. So this is kind of like exploring around mission and escorting the two characters, basically. S2 sums it up. Ah yes. The big old pretty Aetheryte. I had a lot of players here too, honestly. I'm not sure what to expect, honestly. An unusual shape, isn't it? I mean, yeah. I assure you, however, it is perfectly functional Aetheryte. Remember to turn yourself before we move on. Now, being a diligent tour guide that I am, I should make much mention of the Confluence, a research facility located on this very plaza. It's a much vaunted discoveries of the reason Sharlayan stands for the forefront of teleportation technology. Deciphering the underlying principles of elegant Aetherites, it has allowed us to understand and reconstruct what is essentially a lost art. And up we go to our next destination. Our path leads towards the Agora, Sharlayan's largest marketplace. Interesting. It's kind of amazing, honestly. Alright. The bookstalls. Do you mind if I borrow the shelves for a moment? There might be some hidden gems I have yet to read. Only a moment? How a mystic. Feel free to browse as you like, but we won't wait around for you. Perhaps I will return here later then. Oh, Grahatier. I love you, man, but we got some stuff to do. You just want to read a book, and I know the feels. These little open-air bookstalls are so uniquely Sharlayan. I've always thought of them as a common sight until I visit other nations. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, honestly. Every bookshops I've seen, it's almost different. Like every single time. Almost every time. Where you can find wares in Sharlayan, as well as a wide select of import goods. They used to sell questionable prototypes from the various research institutes, but I think the practice thankfully died out, for the most part. Otherwise, I can think no better place to suck up. Sorry, I sometimes I kind of missay it. I think the better word I can use is missaid. So yeah. To stock up for your next big adventure. Or am I overselling it? On a more serious note, the next stop on our tour is one of the peculiar relevance to our ultimate proposal here. Climb the stairs, the very opposing building at the very top. Alright, so we're going... So according to this map, so basically you have to go all the way on the top of the stairs. Basically, go all the way up there. This is my first time here, honestly. This is fantastic. This is great. New places to explore. New places to look. It's honestly awesome. Oh, what's that? This is new. Who's that? What's this? Benapiam. Discuss the water features. These old decorative features are the typical Sharlayan architecture. Aside from the research wing, our headquarters on the Isle of Val were rather simple and rustic by comparison. That's also kind of explains it. This is Nepium, an area dedicated to the blessing of water. For Sharlayan, water represents more than a life-sustaining liquid. It is a reminder of the great flood which precipitated birth of our nation, as well as the symbol of knowledge which flows from the Thalag's defined youre. This is the reason you see the abundance of fountains throughout the city, and it provides and utilizing water decorative feature in our architecture. Interesting. So the more you see it, the more it's more likely. Interesting. So the more you see the big blue swirly things, there's like more in depth of the lore you can see. All right. This grand structure before you is the Rustoa. The name refers to the original public platform erected here. Upon a elected representative would deliver operas and debated policy. Although the state has since involved in the council chambers, the nature of the forum and the duties of its members remain largely unchanged. Am I boring, Raha? You seem awfully distracted. My apologies. From one here, you can see the entire city spread out below. The face that put me in mind of my rival in the forest. For those who gathered at the Crystal Tower asked me how they go about building a new home. Naturally, my answers were inspired by my knowledge of the finest sentiment. I could think of the great city of Sharlayan. And bit by bit, those few beings grew the town, the community, the Crystarium. I can almost see its echo. I see. Feel free to come whenever you wish. I don't think council would be up to get you simply enjoying the view. Such memories should be treasured. For now, however, the tour must go on. As spectacle sightseeing concludes, the fitting namely a journey's end, walk down the stairs to the east and continue straight ahead. Ah, that's interesting. So we're going this way. Honestly, this is so beautiful. Honestly, this is a beautiful place. I would ever dare to think of something like this would happen. It's kind of crazy. So what do we got? Journey's End. We're at the Journey's End. History tells us that this was where those who put ashore in the Archon Labyrinth built their first homes. In the present day, it serves as a residential district for most important officials in the oldest Sharlayan families. You see, one mansion is clearly larger than its neighbors. That estate belongs to our friend Ents from House Levier. All things considered, we should probably keep our distance for the time being. And with that brings our little Sharlayan tour to a close. I have proven to be entertaining and enlightening experience. Should we head during the Baldassian Annex? Remember the raid, right? Don't you, Raha? Let me think. We head down towards the harbor, across the bridge to our right in the follow path to below Aetheryte Plaza? Correct? What a fantastic... What a fantastic... Graha, you're honestly awesome. You have way more knowledge than I honestly, you're a lot more smarter than I am. Considering you've been here before. And you actually came from this place. It's honestly astonishing. It just blew my freaking mind. Oh my gosh. So we should go this way. I mean, there's a lot of places to explore, but damn. Oh, what's this? Right. Where you cross this bridge here is a vertical. Stick to the path and be careful not to end up back here in the back in the Aetherite Plaza. Sharlayan has a full education in research institutions, but there are still professors who prefer to establish their own private practices. Not everyone attended XIV schools that run these residents. Perhaps the twins could tell you more about them. Oh, they would. They definitely would, at this point. This is honestly astonishing to think of this place. It's so huge, honestly. I even love the place. It's fantastic. So I wonder... Oh, speaking of... Let's get this Aetherite first. This Aetherite shard beforehand. Alright, here we are. The joyous look on Graha's face has undoubtedly informed you this is a Baldesion annex. If you continue uphill, you'll arrive at the doorstep of the Phenomenon, but I think we explored enough for one day. We can take you another day. We can take you there another time. Inside with you then. Baldesion annex. Ah, and you were about the ship. Hello, Graha. It's nice to see you again. I hear many a tale of your exploits. Okja-kun. It has been an age. Cousin Elijka Tarajka, administration of officer for the Baldesion, and oversees day-to-day business of the annex. The annex. I read reports on Eureka expedition. Eureka's passing grieved me beyond words. Thank you for standing by him until the end. Yep. So, yep, that is correct. It's depending on the choice you made during your Eureka expedition. If were it different, it would probably tell a different story, so. I don't know if it's gonna stay the same way or not, but it kinda depends. The wrong side of the world, amongst other things. They could count on the base operations and in all intents and purposes. Yet it feels so empty. So many lost to us. Our organization is a shell of the former self. Interesting. The Taravi Fall. Options moving forward. Okay. Good plan. Yeah, basically. Ah, the nap rooms. A predictive for afternoon doze. Oh, I didn't mean to give you the wrong impression. The chambers are quite well appointed. Far more than some cheap roadside inn, you may be assured. It was simply we were enjoying so busy with research, or exhausted from our journey abroad, we should slip into the odd run to steal a few winks. Such as became those the monks distant as nap rooms. Even if many such as naps might last well, falling into the morning. Say the word, I'll happy to show you to your chamber. Too long comfort coming. Comfort. Again, I don't know why I said that. It's just feels odd. The main hall. Alright. Oh. Once you like actually escorted them, you won't have to worry about that, but I assume there will be more along the way. Whew. Let's go. So, do you wanna go get that aetherite? Oh, I might have. You know what? Let's go and get these 2 aetherites since I missed one. I could go up there and get the stadium if I get the chance, honestly. This place is huge, honestly. God damn. It's kind of crazy. So let's go up here. And... this is interesting. Archon's design. You don't say. Alright. Let's grab this, and we should be... we're good. We should be good. Alright, down we go. We can go over to this way and grab it. Prop the sprint. Pop the sprint. Not say it like 5 freaking times. I'm not gonna say that like 5 freaking times fast. Because it's very hard to say it. And when you do it, like, try to do that fast. So, it's basically the whole gist of it, I think. The journey's end. Oh, hello. Either I short and no Sharlayan. Have I already gotten that one? Looks like I do. It looks like I did. Yeah, we got it. We got all the other right shots here. Yeah. This is some crazy bongus. Okay. So let's do this one. Main hall. Whoa. What in the world? Interesting. That's a huge room. This room is gigantic. Well, guess we'll call this a day, and I guess we'll call this, good, and I will see you guys next time, and I'll see you in part 2 of Endwalker. And I will see you guys next time. And remember, if you haven't been an Endwalker, don't come here and watch it, because they will be spoilers. Alright, take care. Love you all, and wash your hands, and take care of yourself, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out!